Erica J. hosting. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come into the room. I wanted to talk to some single professional ladies who are dating, and I wanted to discuss some signs that you are dating a man's representative, as well as maybe have a Q and A. I just think that it's so important to know who you are dating. And when you are a single woman and you are dating with a purpose, there are men who are showing you their representative as to who they want you to think that they are. And they may know the things to say and what to do. And even though that they are doing all of the things, a man can actually make you feel as though things are too good to be true, or they may make you feel like you have an unsettled feeling about it. So in this live, I want to, discuss some signs that you are dating a man's representative, as well as what are some things that you can do when you see these signs, right? And I just think that, being able to discern who a man is and, not falling in love with a man's words, not falling in love with the chemistry, to not fall in love with how a man looks, or not fall in love with how a man makes you feel, but to truly take things as face value. So welcome to the room. I'm Erica J. Holston, better known as Coach Honeylove, and we are going to talk about signs that you are dating a man's representative. I do have some notes, so don't mind me if I look down at my notes. So if you are a single professional woman and you are dating with a purpose and you want to know what are these signs, I want to share that here with you today. And it is, if a man tells you everything that you want to hear. So like, for example, if you go out on a date with a man and he asks you what are some of the things that you are looking for in a man, and when you respond to him, and as the conversation continues, let's say that he says everything that you say that you want in a man, or he says, yes, I am all of those things and more. And this is one of the reasons why I caution single women to not necessarily tell a man everything that they want inside of a man when it comes to the qualities, but to allow him to prove to you, or to allow his actions to show you who he is, right? So if he is a yes man and he says yes to everything it is that you say that you want, or if he tells you everything that you want to hear, you're going to possibly fall for him, or you're going to like him more than who he is. So, when you say to a man, like, I want an honest man, I want a man who, who has a good work ethic. I want a man, who knows God, and you tell him all of those things, and he says, yes, I'm all of those things, but you haven't had the time to actually see that he is all of those things. And if he just says yes, and he's just giving you his words, but he isn't actually giving you his actions, that is where you need to know that you could be seeing a man's representative. And then number two is that he is making big promises too soon, right? So if you're asking for various things and he's promising you that he's going to give you all of those things, and he's going to give you the world, and he may not even hardly know you, or he's giving you these big promises. And the thing is that he would possibly give those big promises in a committed relationship. So if he's giving you big promises and it's only in the dating season and he's not in a committed relationship, and you get a feeling and you ask yourself, why would he give me these big promises and he hardly knows me? Why would he give me these big promises and we aren't in a fully committed relationship? This is why it's so important to not fall in love with a man's words. This is why you really need to discern and to watch for a man's actions. So if he's giving you big promises and he's selling you a dream, chances are you are meeting his representative, and sooner or later that mask is going to come off. And when you start to see things not add up, and when you look back, if things don't work out, there were signs that he was trying to sell you a dream. There were signs that he was giving you big promises and really wasn't going to even give you a commitment, but he was just trying to sell you a dream, and he was just talking. He was talking a good game. So if you are a single woman and you are dating with a purpose and you want a man who is authentic, you have to know what to expect. You have to know, like, what is a reasonable thing that a man in the dating stages would be willing to give a woman like yourself. And then number 3 is that if things seem to be too perfect and yet you get this eerie feeling, chances are he is showing you his representative. So again, he knows everything to say, he knows everything to do, but yet if there seems to be something that is off about him, or something about him just does not fit right, something about him just seems off, you could be meeting the representative. So don't fall in love with the representative. Date with caution, and for you to wait to see a man's action. So don't fall in love with a man's words, but allow yourself some time. Allow yourself to pace yourself when it comes to dating. So I hope that these signs were helpful to you. Put in the comments which of those signs were beneficial to you. Number 1 is that if a man tells you everything that you want to hear, and if you tell him everything that you're looking for in a man, and he says yes to everything, and he tries to tell you, oh, I'm everything that you're looking for, but he does not have the chance to prove to you that he can actually deliver on those qualities, chances are he is showing you his representative. And you don't want to fall in love with a man's representative. You don't even want to fall in love with a man's words. You want to know that a man is who he says that he is. And the only way that you're going to be able to tell that is by a man's actions. And it's going to take time. It's going to take multiple dates. It's going to take multiple conversations. And so, like I'm saying to you, don't fall in love with a man's words, right? And then number 2 is that if a man is giving you big promises, right, and he's giving you these dreams and he's telling you that, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, and I am everything, hey Rebecca, I am everything it is that you are looking for. If he's giving you big promises and you're dating him And if you were to think about it, would he give you those big promises if you were in a committed relationship? Thank you, girl. Would he give you those big promises in a committed relationship versus dating? So if he, is selling you a dream and he is telling you everything it is that you want to hear, and you think to yourself, like, why would he say that he would do these things? Why would he say that he would take me here and take me there, and he hardly knows me? If you are getting an eerie feeling, if you are getting an unsettled feeling, sweetheart, chances are is that you have met the representative. Chances are is that he is trying to sell you a dream. Chances are he wants you to fall in love with his words and not his actions, and he wants to speed up the process. So you have to date at a good pace. You have to be able to discern. And if things feel off, chances are things could be off, right? So allow yourself to discern. Allow yourself to have multiple conversations. Allow yourself to see what is it that he is willing to do, as well as what are his actions. How consistent is he? And he's not going to be able to sell you a dream. He's not going to be able to give you big promises, and then 60 days down the line, if he's not able to deliver, it's time to have a conversation. So don't fall in love with a man's representative. Don't fall in love with a man's words. Allow him to show you with consistency who he is, and to listen to yourself. To listen when you have an unsettled feeling. To listen when, things don't seem to be right. And a lot of times when I work with single professional women and they go through, Honey Love Dating Academy, or they go through one of my coaching programs, and let's say that they're overcoming a relationship breakup. And, I asked them, were there any signs, that he was this person? And 9 times out of 10, women say, yes, there were signs, but I put them off. Yes, there were signs, but I was hoping that things would get better. Yes, there were signs, but I was just enjoying his company. So you cannot allow yourself to fall in love with a man's word. You cannot off-put those red flags. You cannot off-put those unsettled feelings. You cannot off-put when you don't have peace. Because I believe that when you date a marriage-minded man, when you date a man that is good for you, that you should have a certain level of peace. You should be able to see receipts. You should be able to see a level of consistency, and you know that he's not selling you a dream, but this is who he is as a man, right? So when you meet a man's representative, he can only keep it up for so long. The mask is going to come off sooner or later. And chances are he's only able to keep that representative on for 60 days or even 90 days, right? So there are telltale signs that a man is not keeping it real with you. And lastly, the last sign that you are dating a man's representative is when things just seem to be too perfect, right? Like things just seem to be too perfect. Like, you don't have any type of disagreements. Things just seem to be going seamless. It's one thing when things are going seamless and, you have a certain level of peace, but if things are going perfect and you just say to yourself, things just seem to be going too well, right? Not to say that, there are red flags, but if things seem to be going too well and you have an unsettled feeling, that's the catch. if things seem to be going too perfect and you have an unsettled feeling, listen to that feeling, because chances are is that you have met a man's representative. So like I said, I'm Erica J. hosting Coach Honey Love. I help single women position themselves as wives to overcome their dating obstacles and to avoid dating a man's representative. So the common thread in this life is that you have to be cautious as to how a man makes you feel. So if you are seeing red flags, if you are getting this unsettled feeling, if things are not adding up, chances are you have met a man's representative. And so if you want to attract a marriage-minded man and to date a man that helps you to feel secure and there's peace, and you guys seem to be compatible with each other, and it just seems like the two of you are meant to be together, there is a difference when you date that type of man versus a man who is showing you his representative, and he can only keep things up for so long. And after a while, things start to unravel. After a while, red flags are showing up. So if you are seeing red flags, listen to that. If you are getting an unsettled feeling, listen to that. And if things seem too good to be true, and you ask yourself, why is he offering these things so early on? He hardly knows me. I hardly know him. And if you get an unsettled feeling, chances are you have met a man's representative. So be careful, be cautious, and learn how to pace yourself. And know the signs when you are dating a marriage-minded man and a man who means you well. If you are wanting to learn what type of man that is, join Honey Love Dating Academy today. The link is in my bio. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to connect with you. I'm Erica J. hosting Coach Honey Love. Remember to date like a lady and think like a wife. Take care.